Alright, today we're going to talk about the anatomy of a gun. Here is a gun. So first, this is a magazine. The magazine holds ammunition rounds. Rounds are these. The bullet is just the copper part up here that flies out whenever you shoot a gun. Okay, so this is a magazine. They're very important in modern guns. This is the rest of the gun. Legally, the part of the gun here that's a gun, let me take it apart real quick, is this. Just this plastic piece here with a metal serial number that happens to be under this right here, but it's there. No, my serial number's right here, sorry. So that part is embedded into this plastic frame. That is the gun part of the gun. So from here, this is called the slide. If your gun broke somehow and you needed a new slide, you could get one, put it on a gun, no problem, no paperwork or anything, because that's not the gun. This is the gun in terms of parts and legally speaking. So now this is called the recoil spring here. This is the barrel. This is the slide. And these are the sights up here, the front sight and the rear sight. How you use it is you aim them up like this and shoot. When 3 dots align or make a flat point across the top, you are on target. That is what you're aiming for. On the lower half here, there is the trigger right here, where you pull it to shoot. The magazine release right here. I push that to drop this out. This is the slide lock. It locks this slide in place whenever and back when you're out of rounds or you need to service your weapon. This is the takedown lever. This is what you push down to separate the top and bottom halves. Some of these require a little bit of force, so don't be afraid to use a little bit on your gun. It's not a baby, so push it a little bit. So my model here has attached a small light. Most don't have this here. I got lucky and bought it for a really good price, but I don't think it's necessary. So in terms of mechanical parts, you have the trigger, the magazine release, the slide lock, and the takedown lever. You'll have to use them all to take apart this gun here. I'm going to put it back together by putting the barrel in first, the recoil spring here, and then sliding the slide back onto the receiver, locking it in place using the slide lock, pushing down the takedown lever, and you can either push this down, it's a little hard, or you can pull the slide back to make it go back into, they call it back into battery, which means back into action, into proper working order. So what happens when you pull the trigger and there's a round in there, I'm going to simulate it. You pull the trigger, a piece of metal from the back gets hit and the firing pin releases and hits the back of this thing. It explodes, causing the rest of the powder in the round to explode and push this cartridge bullet forward and out. When that's happening, this is flying back with the recoil produced from this. So it's going like this. So you don't want to have your thumb up here when you're shooting or anything, because that'll cut your thumb or get in the way or cause other major injuries. You should definitely have both thumbs on the same side. When that happens, it ejects out the round, and the spring from this magazine pushes up a new round into here. And when it goes back forward, it pushes it into the chamber. When that happens, in a flash of a second, boom, boom, like that. But all that is happening at the same time. So the recoil spring is that main spring there that's causing all of this to go back and forth. Meanwhile, inside here, there's a small pin being held by a spring that's released when you pull the trigger. You pull the trigger, that releases that spring to shoot that pin forward this way.